It was so fun to listen to. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite RBG quotes is displayed on the back of the book, the back of the jacket, and it is, "Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you." But that was not the end of her paragraph. She said that before an audience in 2015. And the next sentence isn't on the book jacket, because you can only put so many things on the back of a book. What she said next was, "One vital asset is a sense of humor. That is, if you're going to be a fighter and a leader, a sense of humor is really helpful." And I feel this very much these days. But, well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is not on any list that I know of the funniest people, or even of the funniest Supreme Court justices. To the contrary, one study of the 2005 Supreme Court term found that only Justice Clarence Thomas beat out RBG for the title of least funny justice, a designation determined by the number of times in the official transcript of oral argument that each justice's remarks were followed by the notation laughter in brackets. And I'm afraid that Justice Thomas seemed to beat her out, mostly because in oral argument he never says anything. I am happy to report to you, though, that analysis of a more recent term turns us in an upward direction. The authors of that study, based on listening this time to more than 80 hours of oral arguments, concluded that Justice Ginsburg is, and I quote, "nearly 200% funnier than we previously thought." Well, I could have told him that. One of my favorite moments when she appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee in 1993 for her confirmation hearings as a Supreme Court justice was when she poked fun of herself for being a person who can seem so serious that her own children kept a journal called Mommy Laughed to record the times when Mommy laughed. And earlier this year, the Justice and I did an event together at the Library of Congress for a small group of school children in Washington, D.C. I asked RBG to talk to the kids about something that's in the book, and the fact that girls at her school had to take home ec, which she did not like and which she was not good at, and the boys got to take shop. "Yes," she replied, "the boys worked with saws and they made things out of wood, and the girls made," and here she paused, "the girls made chocolate pudding." And one time, Justice Ginsburg continued, "instead of reaching for the sugar, I reached for the salt." And she concluded with impeccable comic timing that she should get more credit for, and we had to eat whatever we made. Well, we don't have RBG cracking jokes in I Dissent, but we did attempt to flavor the book with humor and fun to capture the humor and fun that is part of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm so grateful to Elizabeth Badley, whose dynamic illustrations fit so well with this interpretation of the glorious RBG. And while I'm being grateful, a big thank you to Kristen Osby Hoyle, who said yes to my email proposal for this book and then proceeded quite rightly to drive me relentlessly through countless revisions of the manuscript, and then to Liz Kostner, who took over to get the book into readers' hands after Kristen decided that her new baby was too adorable to leave at home, even for RBG and Simon & Schuster's sake. Finally, I was at an event in February when RBG had occasion to address what makes America great. Her words, what makes America great. She didn't say great again. She identified two principles, quote, the right to speak one's mind, and, quote, the idea of our nation being receptive to all people. Yes, she said, and I'm quoting again here, we've had times in U.S. history when anyone who wasn't born and bred in the USA was considered an outcast. But those are our ideals, the treasured First Amendment and the notion that in our nation we are many and yet we are one, end quote. Speaking one's mind, openness to the stranger, dissent, and informed debate are not only the central messages of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life, they're also the ideals that animate the Jane Addams Peace Association. Thank you, then, Jane Addams Peace Association and Book Committee, not only for this honor, but for promoting and sharing these values. Thank you.